Say that no one wants to listen to what I have to say. So I turned on my computer and started a weblog. Blogtv. I wanna be your Blogtv.
Good evening, welcome to Blogtv. I'm the Flying Dutchman and he is Pin. Question tonight is, what is it you don't like about your neighbor? Why do you hate him? What are you trying to do to solve the problem?
You know, you've got your yapping dogs, you've got the urinating in the lifts,
You've got those birds that chirp at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're trying to sleep.
You have these children that just exist. Really irritating. Now, over the last couple of years, the total number of mediation sessions between neighbours has increased sixfold, from 120 in 1998 to 684 in 2008. We have people on the panel who will tell you what you can do about those falling pots and the urinating in the lifts and all that.
Okay, but what we want you to do right now is get involved in Shoutbox. Tell us your problems. Tell us what you have tried to do to solve them. Get involved in Shoutbox. Get it on the web. Tell us what you're facing where you live, so we can put all those problems and whatever you've tried to do to our panel and see what their reaction is like, okay? We're going to do that in a while, but first, a couple of weeks ago, we had a young primary 6 boy on the show, and he took a mathematics test. He was up against a banker, and he won. His name is Daryl, and the PSLE results are out, so we want to find out just exactly how well Daryl did.
He actually, you know, he really kicked that banker's butt.
He did. He kicked some serious butt with that banker.
Okay, here we go. 3G phone call.
Okay, 3G phone call.
To
Let's see.
Daryl.
Oh, okay, we're calling unable to make
Unable to support. I guess we'll speak to Daryl in just a bit.
Just a bit. Okay, we'll try and get Daryl a little later.
A little later. Okay, let's meet our
But to
guest
give you an
for
idea,
today.
apparently Daryl did exceedingly well in the PSLEs. No big surprise.
Brings back bad memories for me. Let's meet our guests today. These are the people who'll be able to tell you what to do with your nasty neighbors.
All right.
We have on my left, this is Community, she's the master mediator of the Community Mediation Center. This is Layla. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Layla.
On my right, this is Dr. Malaki Osman, the Parliamentary Secretary of the Ministry of National Development. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we have Casey over here, who has a lot to say about his
Lots of it.
unruly neighbors. I hope you neighbors are watching.
Okay. Well, we're going to find out what everybody has to say, but I want to start with you, Layla. Yes. Master mediator, what is the worst problem you've ever had to mediate?
It was a case between two neighbours disputing over religious beliefs.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with the incense of one house and then the other house doesn't have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, one believes to be a religious person and the other not. So the one who has got the religious materials outside his home was bothersome for the other party. And so despite all the communications that they had among themselves and all the fights among themselves, they came to mediation. And mediation was also not successful because the one who was very religious didn't want to give up his practice of the way what he was practicing. And the other party wants him to remove everything from the corridor so that she can walk peacefully.
Oh, how do you solve a problem like religion between two neighbors, though?
That was a very tough one, and we actually, it was very difficult in the sense that we took about 3 or more hours to talk to both of them. And finally, the religious guy decided that he will remove some of his
compromise.
I don't understand this. I'm taking this to be HDB living.
Yes.
That corridor does not belong to the person.
Yes.
So isn't there a ruling or a law that says, I am sorry that this is your religion, but you need to get rid of all this stuff?
Dr. Malaki?
Well, there are rules, there are bylaws by the Town Council in relation to the usage of common areas like that. But we also encourage neighbours to kind of like negotiate spaces because, you know, if we were to implement the rules each time, the neighbours will not be able to use the space at all. There are certain guidelines that we give. For example, whatever you put, it shouldn't be obstructing people's movement so that it doesn't become a fire hazard. Yes, fire hazard issue. For religious issues, I think it's a matter of understanding. understanding, you know, because people do practice religions in different manners. Some burn incense, some have altars, some do chantings in their home, so noise becomes an issue. So at the end of the day, really, is how we can actually negotiate spaces, how we can actually negotiate understanding of each other's beliefs. And sensitive as they may be, it exists because we all live.
Sound like an easy task.
It is not, certainly, yeah.
Casey, what are your pet peeves about your neighbours? Please tell us, list them all for us.
Well, I have a couple of cases in my previous residence, quite similar to like what FD have said. It's like it happens like between 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. you get noises.
What sort of noises?
Banging noises, shifting of furniture, things like that.
Maybe they have a ghost.
Well, unfortunately, it's not. So what we did was that we actually approached the neighbour. All right, it was in the daytime, not at night, of course. And the very beginning, they were quite fine. You know, they were quite okay. And say, "Oh, hi, yeah, you're downstairs. You're staying downstairs and all that." And when I came straight to the point, I said that, by the way, at night, you know, before I could even complete, he said that it's not me. You know, this is my house. This is my space. I can do whatever I want. But then again, when we try to continue to tell them, said, look, I mean, yes, you can do whatever you want, but please do be considerate that, you know, we have to sleep, we have to work the next day, things like that. Well, then again, that is where things start to turn very nasty. You know, that sometimes you can actually get to hear very loud banging noises. I think it was some weights or something like that at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, and I think again, that will probably keep you awake for the next 1 hour.
Yeah, pretty much.
So things like that.
Okay, speaking of noise, there is a forum for Reach.
Right.
And I'm going to read you something off the forum. It's about a coffee shop in Yishun, which closes at 12 midnight. Every night, according to what's been written in the forum, every night there were this group of 3 to 4 men with a lady chatting on the top of their voices up to about 1:30. Some will laugh very loudly. They've rung up the police. They took some time to arrive, and by then all these guys were gone. Worse still, can we be charged for making a false report when those people had left? Apparently last night, when this report was put up, they say last night this same group chatted past 2 a.m. And someone from the flat was screaming at them to keep quiet. So sometimes it's not even your neighbor, you know? I mean, these are neighbors, but they're not actually in a house.
Sure.
What can you do about people talking loudly? I mean, you know, moving furniture, maybe, right? Fixing your motorbike at 5 in the morning, maybe. But talking?
Well, it depends on the time of the day or night that they are talking. You know, I mean, we do have to respect certain time of day or night. I mean, if you're talking about 3 a.m. in the morning and everybody, under normal circumstances, are resting and sleeping, I don't think it's appropriate for you to be talking. Whether it's in your own home, loudly, or whether it's at the void deck space, or whether it's in a coffee shop next door, I think there's a certain element of consideration that has to be put in place because we are living in a communal setting at the end of the day. So there's some protocols of sort, you know, appropriate behaviors that I think we should probably agree on.
Then how do you deal with something like we just got on the shout box, a case of dogs that are barking at 2 a.m. in the morning?
What do you do about dogs? Doggy, please don't make noise. What are you going to do about dogs? Layla, how do you solve the problem?
I think find out the root of the problem. Why is the dog barking? Is the owners in? Probably the owners may not be in and the dog is barking. And the person who's been annoyed has to make the move to find out what is the issue all about. Is it the dog is barking just a short while and then it stops, maybe seeking attention? Or is it prolonged kind of barking, then that person has to take some action.
You know, but I turn to you and I say, a dog barking, if it barks for 30 seconds or if it barks for 20 minutes, it makes no difference to me because I wake up. So I'm shot for an hour and a half before I can go back to bed.
I'm going to call somebody who doesn't have a complaint against dogs, but has been complained against because she has a yelping dog. Let's find out from this anonymous caller.
Miss Tan.
Yeah, that's all we're going to give you, Miss Tan.
Miss Tan, okay, Miss Tan.
Hi, Miss Tan. This is Pin from Blogtv.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show. Now, we hear that your neighbor has complained about your dogs before. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. And not just once, but repeatedly.
Okay, what's the complaint?
She complained about my dogs being noisy, that my dog was a nuisance.
Is it true that your dog is a nuisance? Is your dog a nuisance?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
But there were plenty other things that she complained about that were untrue, like, you know, us having our shoe racks outside as fire hazard and things like that.
Why do you think your neighbor complains about your dogs, though?
I think she has nothing better to do. Honestly.
Well,
Yeah.
Sometimes.
well, thank you very much. Thank you.
I tell you what.
This is a common thing, right? People
is.
complain about somebody, and then the person being complained against will insist that he or she has done nothing wrong.
I tell you what, we're going to go for a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to find out what our panel has to say about this problem of yapping dogs, and are they really an annoyance? So we'll be back in a while after the break.
Have the producers talking? I can't hear them playing.